summer is just around the corner. I expect you to spend some weekends outside and make some memories in this good weather. Here at the GIC, we have just completed the World Human Rights Cities Forum successfully. I really appreciate your warm concerns for the forum and also for joining today's GIC talk. Before moving on to the talk, please make sure to turn your cell phone on silent mode so that you do not interrupt the talk. Today's talk will be given by Wabe, who studied at Florida International University. He will discuss about the topic entitled Photography in Korea. He is going to give us a lecture about photography in Korea and how to take pictures better. He will also introduce his project PIK, Photographers in Korea. Let's please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Good afternoon. First of all, thank you for coming. It's very nice. The weather is very nice, and I'm very happy to see so many of you here. Most people these days, they love taking pictures. Everybody, right? You have phones, you have cameras. So today we're going to have fun talking a little bit about photography, my project, and how to take better photographs. I'm going to start by introducing myself. Click. The $100 million question is, where am I from? Which is a very good question. It's a very good question because sometimes I don't even know myself. My grandparents were born in Israel. They moved to Central America, where I was born in Costa Rica. Then I moved to Miami, Florida, where I went to school and graduated from Florida International University. Then moved to Korea, and I've been living here for 10 years, Korea. So I feel like almost half of my life has been here in Korea. I feel Korean now. Back. I wasn't always a photographer. Photography was something that I really loved, but I'm not really good with numbers. So when I was in high school, I wanted to present my project, my art project as a photography, but the problem was that I got excited. I asked my parents to buy me a camera. I went out there, I took lots of pictures, but the result was not good. I was very disappointed. So I said, I'm going to learn photography. But the problem was that back in those days, there was no YouTube, there was no internet. So if you wanted to learn something, you have to actually find a book and read. And it wasn't easy because every time you try to learn about photography, there are too many numbers. For me, those numbers were not really something I wanted. So I gave up photography. My high school project was a disaster. But my teacher allowed me to present paintings, which I did. Finally, I got a scholarship. I graduated from FIU, Florida International University, with an art degree. But after I finished my university, I couldn't find a job in the art field. It was very impossible. So I started learning about computers. That was my first step into photography. I started learning about computers. I was hired as a computer technician. While I was working as a computer technician, I started working as a web designer. And through web designing, I became a graphic designer, and while I was working as a graphic designer, I started using a lot of photography. And then finally, that's how the evolution became from a computer technician to photographer. What do I do here in Korea? I do many things. Click. Right now, I've been in Korea for 10 years. Currently, I have a contract with a stock photography company in Seoul, which is UniQ Images, stock photography. I'm a contributor for different magazines. Groove Magazine is one of them. It's another magazine in Seoul. Revista N is a Spanish magazine in Seoul, which I'm also a photographer for them. I contribute for the GIC magazine, the Gwangju News, and I have a new project that I started last year that it's called PIC, which means Photographers in Korea, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. I also run a couple of photography groups in Gwangju. One is the Facebook Gwangju Photography Club, and it's one. But yes, this is some of the stuff I do. Now, we're going to get into the fun stuff right now. Let's talk about photography. What's behind a picture? What's behind a picture? We all take pictures. We all love pictures. I don't know or met someone who have told me, I hate pictures. Now, everybody loves a good picture, right? But what makes a difference? What makes a difference between some pictures and other pictures? What's a good picture? Can someone tell me what's a good picture? If I make you to speak, I have a present for you. I brought some extra pictures here that I'm going to give you if you answer some of my questions. So, back. Right. What's a good picture? What's a good picture?
Okay.
Yes?
It says history.
History. There you go. See how easy it is to win one of my pictures? Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You see? Now everybody wants to speak. Who can tell me what's a good picture again? Everybody. Me. Yes.
Someone has a story?
She said that already.
Okay,
Was
I
it
have.
history?
Wait. Yes.
Was it history? It was
She said history.
I said story.
Oh, he tells a story. Of course. A picture tells a story. This is a story of me having espresso. So, it's true. That's a story. Yes, sir.
Okay, I am just arrived now, but my guess that the content.
The content.
Yes.
Okay, a picture has a special content. Very good. There's always a special content. Okay, so you're welcome. I'm going to give some more in a little bit. Let's move on and talk about what's in a good picture. What's in a good picture? Okay, so the first thing is what we call composition. Click. Oh, technique. Composition. Can I have the clicker back? Is it working? Technique, composition. It worked. Well, working. The post-processing, technique, composition, post-processing. A lot of people think that a good camera is going to give you a good picture, but it's not always right. So if you see the graph right here, you can have an idea of what I believe a good picture has. Technique, composition, post-processing. You can see that a good camera is actually a very little percentage of what a good picture is. So we're going to break it down. We're going to try to figure out what is the technique, Joe, what is the composition, and what is post-processing. Let's start with technique. This is my beautiful daughter. Technique is how you learn to use your camera. How you learn to use your camera. Many people buy cameras, but they only know one thing. Click. And they use the auto feature. And there is a million other features that we don't really look into it. So let's see what the technique is. Number one, expensive cameras do not take better pictures. You can take a very good picture with your cell phone or with a camera that will cost you $6,000. So it's not about the camera. Number two, you need to learn more about the camera. A lot of people buy cameras, but they never really take the time to learn about the camera. When you buy your camera, you usually will get one of these things, right? But these things are boring and hard. Who wants to read this? Nobody wants to read this, right? But the good news is there are other type of books that will tell you about your camera that is not the user guide. For example, this book, you will have to buy it separately. This book is about my camera and explain in good English, because that is not really good English. That's a lingo that it's hard to understand. You can learn a lot about your camera. Books. Now, you don't need to buy books. Everything is online these days. So learn about your camera. Light. Light is very important. If there's no light, very simple, there is no picture. The best pictures are taken when you understand where the light comes from. A lot of people try to take pictures in the dark and nothing comes out. When you try to take pictures in the dark or very dark places, you're forcing your camera to have or use its own light, and that's where the pictures come out very not good. If you have a camera and it's not very expensive camera, but you want to get to the next level, instead of buying a more expensive camera, try to get some different lenses. The lenses will actually make a big difference in your pictures. What style do you want? If you want a photo lens, if you want to take pictures from very far, from very close, different lenses will help you a lot, and you can have very expensive or not so expensive lenses, but usually lenses will make a very big impact in your photography. Now, composition. What is composition? Composition is the rhythm in the picture. When you see a picture, everything has to have symphony. Everything has to have a rhythm. Like this picture was taken in Jeju, and it does look like it's a musical note. I put that as an example. A good picture has a good composition. When you see a picture, you feel there is something in there. Okay, so composition is very important also. How do we learn about composition? Composition is not that easy. Not everyone has the eye. So it's better to read a little bit. You have to learn the basic rules of composition, which I'm going to explain one by one in a little bit. Okay? The photos are canvases in need of help. What does it mean? The difference between a painting and a photograph is that a painting, you're given an empty canvas. And you have to start putting things inside. You have to start putting color. Photography is a little bit different. You are given with the canvas already full, and your job is to start putting things out. Start putting things out. So, in a picture, your job as a photographer or as an amateur photographer would be to, instead of making it, start removing things out. When I take pictures, you can move things around. It's not a sin to move things around. If you want to make a good picture, you can, you move things around, and that's okay. You can move things around. Make the picture, don't just take it. That is always my philosophy. You make the picture, don't just take it. If I want to take a picture of him, but it's not very good, I'll go and move his glasses a little bit, and and I can make my own picture to give it a little bit of a style. Basic rules of composition. Rules of thirds, rules of odds, leading lines, golden spiral, viewpoint, framing. There's a lot more rules, but these are the rules that I usually use for my photography. So I'm just going to explain these simple rules to you. We're going to start with the rule of thirds. This is a picture I took in Cheomdan area in Gwangjang-guk. Now the rule of thirds, basically what it tells us is that you're going to divide this picture into 9 different frames, and you're going to try to place the most important objects either below, up, on the side, but the idea is to try not to get things in the middle. Try to move things the way. As you can see, I move the entire city down. The sky has a lot more power, and the picture has a lot more feeling. If you have this over here, it will be very dark. You cannot really see the colors of the sky. The picture will have a different mood. So this is an example of the rule of thirds. You can see here, I sketched a little bit. You try to put things on the side, always try to get the middle empty. Try to use the points right here. I'm going to show another example. This is a picture I took in Name, and you can see how I left all the most important parts of the picture on the bottom using the rule of thirds. This will give your picture a much bigger impact. The rule of odds. What's the rule of odds? The rule of odds, you place elements that are number odds, 1, 3, 5, etc. in the picture. In this case, I have 3 guys on the bottom right there. I'm using not only the rule of thirds, but the rule of odds, where I place 1, 2, 3. Why does it work that way? I don't know, but it works. Okay, it always works. 1 object, 3 objects, 5 objects. It wouldn't look as good if you used 2 or 4. So that's why it's called the rule of odds. I'll give you another example. This is a Yangza. I use 3 leaves right here, 1, 2, 3, and I'm following the rule of odds, and it does give a powerful input. Leading lines. Lines are very important. The lines will guide you through your picture and through your eye. In this, we have lines here that are going to give you an imagination of the person walking somewhere. I'm using the rule of thirds too, which I usually use for all my pictures, and she is moving away in lines. You can see the lines with the flowers also right here. The branches will lead you to the flowers. Your eye moves through the curves, and they rest on different points. That's leading lines. You can always use curves that will take you somewhere. The golden spiral. The golden spiral was, it's a mathematical graphic that some of the geniuses from many years ago used, and it's also used in photography. Michelangelo used it, Da Vinci used it, It's called the golden spiral. The way it works is the eye moves in a spiral way to end to a point where you focus your attention. This was used in math, but it also works in photography because it works with nature. So it does work very well in this picture. Now that you don't see, that's one of the rules. I'll show you another example right here. If you can see how that works, there's the spiral right there, and your eye will start with the little dry flowers, and you will end up looking at the cup of coffee. So that's another of the rules that I use. The viewpoint. When you're going to take a picture, most people just take a picture at your eye level. But it's a good idea to move around to see which viewpoint is better. You see, I was trying to give here, this is a recipe to make kimchi jjigae. It's a picture I took from the top bottom. And this is a picture that I also use a different viewpoint. It's good to move around. If you want to take good pictures, you can't be lazy. You gotta move around. You gotta get on your knees. You gotta look up, look down to see which is the best spot that you have. This is a picture taken in Pegyansa also, where my neck hurt very much, but I was looking up above a tree. And yeah, change your point of view. Framing. Framing is when you get one object and you surround the object with whatever there is. In this case, I have the lotus flower in there, and I surround it with the green leaves. And that is one way of framing. I will show you another example. I'm using this wall just to have them on the middle, and I'm framing the picture with a different object. That is framing. And the last one is, remember, what was the first rule? Not rule, what was the first part of having good pictures? Do you remember? The technique and the composition, processing, right? We use digital pictures right now. We don't have to go into a dark room and develop pictures anymore, although some people do it. But everything is done in your computer. Processing is a very important part of your picture. You take a picture, and like I said, it's time to start cropping, cutting things down that do not work. So, very important. I always tell people, crop, crop, crop. Remove things that you don't really need. If you have a very nice flower here, but there is a bird right here, then people are confused. What kind of picture is it? Flower or the bird? So you crop your picture to focus on what you want to show. Don't overdo processing. A lot of people love to over-process the pictures. They almost look not real. So do not overdo it. Learn the basics, sliders, for example, exposure, contrast, saturation, etc. All those, learn a little bit. What do they mean? Don't just move things around until you get something that you like. Learn the basics. And many people ask me, which is the best program to edit pictures? They're all good. They're all good. If you have basic knowledge of what these things mean, any program that you use will help you edit your pictures. Now we've talked how to take the pictures. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about my project and photography in Korea. And in order to talk about my project, it's very important to understand about where the history of photography comes into the picture here. In the 19th century, there were no Korean photographers. There were no studios. Okay, the first photographers that were known were mostly foreigners, only foreigners. The reason was Korea went into a period where they did not allow any foreigners to come to Korea because they were conquered by the Chinese and Japanese. So it was very hard. So during this period, a few foreigners that managed to sneak in Korea, they were able to take a few pictures. So during the 19th century, there's no records of any studio or any Korean photographers or photography whatsoever. The earliest pictures that were taken in Korea were by two very world-famous photographers in those days. It was Felix Vito and John Thompson. These two photographers have a very big collection of photographs of Korea, but this was 1871 through 1874. Those were the first images of Korea that came out around the world. The first Korean photographer was Mr. Kim Young-won. He wasn't even a photographer. He was not a photographer. He was an ambassador. He worked in the Japanese embassy. And here in the Japanese embassy, he learned photography from a Japanese photographer. He was very interested. So he became a photographer. He is the first mentioned photographer from the area. He was the first Korean photographer. Because Korea was so late into starting this photography career, most of the pictures from Korea from this era are very rare, and they're not even in Korea. Most of these pictures are outside Korea. They are trying to build a museum in Korea of Korean photography, but first they're going to have to start bringing all the photographs from abroad. So that's going to be a little bit difficult. So this is a little bit of background about Korean history. Now, the new Korean network of photographers, international photographers, have been for a long time. But recently, it was like 2012 when they start coming out through Facebook. In 2012, there was a worldwide photo walk. And after the photo walk, many groups start coming out. The Seoul, the Gwangju, the Daegu group. The Gwangju group was established actually in 2009. And after all these groups start coming out, they start breaking apart. Because the community was very small, and they start building groups everywhere, so it started breaking apart. So this is when I came into creating a project to keep all the good international photographers together. And I created a magazine. It's an online magazine that is called PIG, Photographers in Korea. It's been only 8 months, but right now in Korea it's the biggest network of international photographers in Korea. Is the biggest. So far we have 8 different issues. We have created 8 different magazines. This is the latest magazine that was made. We're working right now. Next week we'll have the June edition. We've been only out for about 9 to 10 months, but the project is very, very big, very big. This is a spread. This is a sample of the magazine for the spring collection. We collected many pictures from all over Korea about the cherry blossom. We have some people who like to collaborate with us, help us put the magazine together. We have Korean staff, we have people from Canada, America, myself. We've put together some exhibitions as well. This is an exhibition we put together in Daejeon with some of the best work from photographers. We do interviews. We pretty much what we do is we collect the best work of photographers in Korea. We have, if you're interested in visiting the project, we have a Facebook page. Right now, in 10 months, we have almost reached 1,500 followers. The address is Photo GIC Korea. I'm not sure why that is. That's yeah. We have, if you go to Facebook and you check the project, we have about 300 beautiful photographs from around Korea. We only accept photographs that were taken in Korea and they have a Korean meaning. We do not take pictures that were taken outside or pictures that do not have any relationship with Korea. We only take pictures that are related to Korea. It's about 300 pictures that we have collected so far from about 200 photographers. If you want to have a look at the magazine, you can check this address. This is where you can check the magazine. This is the last issue. She is actually a photographer from Jeju-do. Also, if you would like to know more about my work, you can check my work at 500px.com and just look for Joe Wabe. This is one way you can find my work online. The other is you just join Facebook. You can find me there. So basically, whoops. There. This is very important. Doesn't matter what camera you have, or if you have a very expensive, you have an iPhone, or if you have whatever camera you have. Remember, just make the picture. Make the picture. Don't just take the picture. I'm gonna leave you right now with a small video. The video has a little bit of my work on it, and then after the video, I have more pictures to give away, and I would like more interaction with you. I don't think I can click that. Maybe if you use the mouse. Right. There's a link. Is this on? That's on YouTube. It will open different screen. That is playing now.
비틀비틀 걸어서 내 작은 방에 지친 몸을 누렸어
Browser. Move it. Drag it. Drag it and move it. Yeah, that way. There you go. You can't see. Go that way. Maximize.
비틀비틀 걸어서 내 작은 방에 지친 몸은 누웠어 가만히 들어보니 비가 내리는 소리가 들리네 불 꺼진 방에 스며드는 가로등 불빛에 비치는 빗줄기 차갑게 물리는 소리에 난 눈을 감았네 지루한 청각은 울리며 내게 다정히 속삭이는 것도 같아
coffee. It's spinning the coffee. It's too much
Is
sugar.
that the hand or the coffee?
No idea. Okay, so while the coffee is being stirred, I'll give you the chance to ask me one good question, and you have a chance to read another picture.
Is that the hand or the coffee?
That's the coffee. Yes, sir. Where?
I have a question.
You lost your chance.
Yes.
What's your question?
As I'm interested in taking the picture, I guess you have a lot of places to take the picture or video, but just I want to know where is the best place for you to take a picture here in Korea?
That depends on the season,
Season?
right?
Uh,
You always have to look for good places because a good place can be very nice during the cherry blossom, but it won't be the same in summer. It's gonna be just green, right? So there's not a very good place. I think in Gwangju, probably one of my favorite places is the Gwangju-chan, the stream, Gwangju River, along Cheonsan, no, what is the name? Yongsan River, right? It's always good. There are spots where they have, in summer they're going to have a lot of sunflowers, and spring they have the yellow flowers, and it's always very good. Yes, it's a good question. So you have a picture. Yes, who wants to get another picture? There you go, I'll give you this. This is a picture taken in Changheun. Right, Changheun. I use micro lens for this. And you can see I woke up, it was maybe 5 o'clock in the morning, and the night before it rained, so I was very glad to find some nice drops. Who wants this picture? You ask me a question, you can have this one. Because I already have this picture, I don't need it.
What brought you to Korea?
It's a good question, yeah. Well, let me answer before I give you this. 2002, I came here to watch the World Cup, 2002. And then when I went back home, I was very sad because I was depressed actually because the World Cup in Korea was so much fun, so many people outside, so much partying, so much everything. Went back home to Miami, it was empty, it was quiet. I was depressed, so I came back to study Korean, and that's how I ended up here. Congratulations.
I don't need it, but I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So, can you make your photography a job easily?
Can-
Feed yourself, feed on, as a business.
You have a picture. Thank you for allowing me to come here. And okay, I will answer your question if you ask again, because I forgot.
So, here, when you paint, many people sell their paintings, and then it is a kind of job, but I will find many photographers
Right. Now my
as a professional job.
I love photography, but my dream is not to become a commercial photographer because that what happened to me while I was a graphic designer. That my job my passion became my job and I lost passion for it. I don't want the same thing to happen with this. That's why my project with Peak, it's very important for me because I can still do my photography, but what I would love to do one day is to publish a book with the best photographers. So I wanna, in the future, if I ever make money through photography, will not be directly selling my work. It's good if people wanna buy my work, that's fine. But I would love to get into the publishing business rather than selling photography. I like the magazines, I like books, so that's my dream, and that's why I'm working with this big project to probably make it into a yearly publication of photography in Korea. But again, thank you for allowing me to be here. I got more pictures. I need more questions. Let's see. That's another picture here. This is I carry my camera pretty much all the time, and this is one of those rainy seasons. I was waiting at the red light inside my car. I stopped the wipers for a little bit, and then I took a picture of the rain, and I used the rule of odds. You can see 1, 2, 3 people walking across. You want this picture, you can have it. Yes?
What was your feeling when you take it?
I was late to work, so it was not good. Stress, but I was happy. Yeah. I was driving, but I was happy with the result. Is that thing still scaring the copy?
Oh my god.
Okay, you can if you need. I was driving one day and there was this gentleman, he was, it was last summer actually, he was getting ready to plant some rice. So I stopped by and asked him if I could take a picture. Before I asked someone if I could take a picture, I try to establish a relationship with the person. I don't like just to snap at people because I think it's not right. So we started talking and he was telling me he had a son which was studying in Australia, and he hasn't seen for maybe 15 years. So then I said, maybe if I take a picture of you, maybe one day he'll see you. So I promised that I was going to try to post this picture everywhere to see if he could find his son. This year, I'm planning to go visit him again and bring that picture to him. I got a copy here. Who wants it? Who wants to give me a question? You can have this. Yes.
Did you talk about that in English or in Korean?
Korean.
In Korean.
한국말 안 써요.
I don't need another picture, but I have a question.
Sure.
What is your first question to them when you meet kind of a stranger actually?
It depends on the situation. If they're eating something, I will talk about the food. He was planting rice, so I asked him, is it hard? to do this job and say, so yeah, it's always different. I don't have a specific question that I ask. This is in Mudunsan. Mudunsan, yes. Another micro picture. Yes. Who wants this? Yes, sir.
What kinds of topic do you like to take?
What kinds of what?
Topic, like
Topic. I love people. Right, I love people. I think people are, it's my passion. I can take pictures of anything, but when I take pictures of people, to me is I'm very happy because it shows a lot of emotions. You can see the old lady. She was telling me how she was complaining actually because the window in her hospital has no light and she wanted some light. So we walked out and she was very happy because there was some light. Actually, I feel bad because I put it in the light to take my picture, but she was happy anyways. But yeah, people is... Okay, I have two more and we'll wrap up. Two more. You don't need to ask me a question, I'm just...
Don't you have a picture yourself?
Of course I do, of course I do. But actually I hate my pictures. When I look at my pictures, I don't like my pictures. I like to take pictures, I just don't like to see videos of me or pictures of me. Yes, I don't have any more pictures.
How much do you usually spend on, your hobby?
It's a lot of money, yes, that's why I work very hard. But there's no numbers, it depends. If I want a new lens, I have to work extra hours, teach extra hours. So. But yeah, it's not a very cheap hobby, but it pays a lot in many other ways. I've met so many people, I'm always dreaming about things to photograph, so it's very good. It pays a lot. It keeps my spirits and hopes very high. Thank you very much for being here. You've been very nice, very kind. I'm going to be giving some free photography classes if you're interested in learning. There is a place there where you can sign your name, your phone number, your bank account, your ID. No, just your name and your email address and I will contact you. We put together a group and I can offer you some free photography classes. Hope you enjoy your weekend. Thank you very much for coming.